It means that you're temporary, you're not permanent. You are not there for life. The best things that I've gotten as a result of becoming permanent resident. 3 months in, like, what has changed? Is there any difference? Like, give us the tea. Hi guys, welcome to Nana's channel. It's been a long time since I did a sit down video. Today is the day that we sit down here and chat a little bit. Now, you guys, I have gained lots of weight recently, the last 6 months, and it's because of the good life that I am living and the peace of mind. They say sometimes it's not about food, it's about the peace of mind that you enjoy wherever you are. Now, you guys, it's been 3 months since I became a permanent resident. Whoop, 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 whoop. So 3 months in, what is going on? What's different? Is it still the same thing? Is it different? Am I a new Adi? Like, what happens? 3 months being a permanent resident, you guys, life has been so good. So good. Which is why today I'm sitting down here to share with you the best things that I've gotten as a result of becoming permanent resident. When you're moving abroad as an immigrant, there are always two things. You either move as a permanent resident or you move as a temporary resident. It's always those two means. Now, when you're a temporary resident just simply means temporary resident. It means that you're temporary, you're not permanent. You are not there for life. So yes, I moved to Canada as a temporary resident, and I moved here as a student. Now, students, temporary workers, visitors, if you come here by means of a fiancé, all that is temporary residency. Now, there are people who are also lucky to come here as permanent residents. The likes of people who get invited to come here as permanent residents through their Canadian fiancés or husbands or whoever, those can come here as permanent residency. Also, there's a pathway that you can use and apply from wherever you are in the world and come to Canada as a permanent resident. And it's called express entry. So if you did not know anything about that, I'm now saying it right now. Yes, you can come to Canada from your country as a permanent resident. However, I came here as a student, which fall in the category of temporary resident. Now, today I'm going to be telling you 3 months in, like, what has changed? Is there any difference? Like, give us the tea. Yes, there's so many changes that have happened since I became permanent resident, and they're actually only good stuff only. Okay, only good stuff. Now, I got my permanent residency. I showed you guys over here, and yeah, I've been taking it in step by step. It's been sinking in. It has gained me so much weight, and I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. Now, what's the difference between like a permanent resident and a citizen? Because that's the other thing. I am not a citizen. I'm a permanent resident. Now, the only difference between me and a citizen is that I cannot vote or I cannot be voted for. And also, if I become a very, very, very bad member of the society, then there's also still a chance that I could be deported back to my country of birth. So those are the differences between a permanent residency and a citizen. Now, I'm permanent. Don't get me wrong. I'm permanent. But if I still do those bad things, I'm not planning to, then of course they can kick me out. But anyways, permanent residency comes with so many good things. And the first one I want to talk about, which has gained me so much weight, is the peace of mind. You guys, the peace of mind that you get after you get your permanent residency, it's out of this world. You're just like, oh, I'm home, you guys, You're like, nowhere be like home, you guys, You are not in a rush. You're not struggling to renew stuff, renew documents, worry about, oh, if I do this, I will not be given permanent residency, or I need to be good, I have to be in my best behavior, I cannot get this type of jobs, blah blah blah. It's a lot of like worry that comes with temporary permits vis-a-vis when you have like a permanent residency, because that you're just like, oh, okay, tumefika, we've arrived, So that peace of mind is what I've learned in the past 3 months, which is very, very important, and which I didn't realize as a student until I got my permanent residency. Now, with the peace of mind that you have, your things are permanent, and which is the next step. The other thing that the other advantage of becoming a permanent residency is that most of your things are permanent. I don't know how else to put it, but realistically, everything is permanent. It comes with a permanent SIN number. Now, a SIN number, some people call it PIN number, and that's the number that every individual, it's like an identification number, but for the government. Yeah. Because in Kenya, we have an ID with identification number, but we also have the PIN number. So what I'm talking about is the PIN number. Here in Canada, we call it SIN number. This number is what you take to your employer, is what you take to your banks, is what you use for filing taxes. So this is permanent if you're a permanent resident. But if you're a temporary resident, you're given a temporary SIN number. So I initially had that one, but once I got my permanent residency, I got my permanent SIN number. And what's the difference? Like why is it a big deal? It's a very big deal, you guys. Because this SIN number, you take it to your employer. Your employer has a peace of mind that this person is permanent. They could leave, but if they choose to invest in you, then you know what? They know that you're Canadian. You're Canadian, and so they're gonna be taking that risk of investing in you, and they don't have to worry about helping you come over or helping you gain get your papers or like get your permanent residency, or the worry of probably you might go back to your country and all that. So that SIN number is very, very important. The other thing is, here in Canada, when you're applying for jobs, usually there are preliminary questions, especially in these major websites. The job sites that you apply for jobs through also, there are preliminary questions that we do answer usually. In those preliminary questions, I remember very well because, of course, I was temporary resident before, 3 months prior to today. And whenever I used to apply for jobs, the questions are usually very repetitive, and they're usually like, the first question is usually, are you a permanent resident, or a temporary resident? And then you click as applicable. And if you click on temporary resident, they go ahead and ask, do you have a work permit, blah, blah, and all that. So I guess like employers need to know if you are temporary or for them to employ you. I don't know how much that plays a role when it comes to the selection criteria of the candidate, but now I don't have to do that, you guys. With my permanent residency, I am permanent, period. The other thing that I have that comes with a permanent residency that I am enjoying right now is, as I told you in the beginning of the video, is that everything is permanent. So when you come to Canada, there's a healthcare card. Healthcare is free, right? So I don't have to pay for healthcare, which is nice. Yeah. If you're on a work permit, you don't have to pay for healthcare as well. But that healthcare card, if you're on a temporary resident permit, whatever are temporary, whether a work permit or a student permit or a visiting visa, that healthcare card has an expiration date. With permanent residency, you don't have to. It has an expiry date, but just like citizens. So it takes say like 5 years for it to expire. So like you're at peace of mind for the next 5 years. You're not going to be filling documents, queuing long lines at like government offices to renew your documents. So that is just so amazing. The permanent resident card itself also lasts you 5 years before you have to renew it, right? You can renew it, or within the 5 years you can apply for citizenship, so you don't even have to renew it forever. Like you will be a citizen. So yeah, that is the other thing that comes with permanent residency, that renewals like take years. They come in big numbers, kubwa, my friend. So that has been really, really, really nice, and I'm enjoying that so far. Travel is a big thing, especially if you enjoy traveling. You still can travel with or without the permanent residency, but with the permanent residency, like there are more countries you can go to visa free. There are more countries you can go to with a permanent residence card. Like you don't even need the Canadian passport, because of course you're not citizen yet, but with a permanent resident card, you can go to like most countries, and more countries and get visa on arrival, or you don't even need a visa at all. And then when you're coming back to Canada, you don't even have to apply for a visa to come to Canada. You guys, mnanielewa ama? Coming back to Canada, you just walk in with your permanent resident card, like your ID card. You do not need to apply for, like me right now. If I'm in Kenya, or I'm in Nigeria, I'm in South Africa, coming back to Canada, I just walk in, with my permanent resident card. I don't need a visa. Like you guys, you don't even understand. You do not even understand how amazing that is. So that is the other thing that you get, plus additional countries that you can visit visa free. Like if you're considering going back to school, it's gonna be cheaper. Generally, you're going to be paying residence rates. You're not going to be paying like an international student. Like international students in this country pay 3 times the amount that local students pay. So that is the other thing that you get, that this is the time to go back to school. I'm telling you, this is the time to go back to school, because you're going to be paying way much less. With permanent resident card, banks only require like 5% down payment, but if you're a foreigner or you don't have your permanent residency, then you pay a lot in down payment before you can even buy a house. So just such services and facilities that are available to citizens and permanent residents really make life way easier. So yeah. And the other day, you guys, I bought a car. Of course you all guys know, because I put it on the channel. If you haven't watched, go check it out. And I was buying a car, and I didn't even tell them I didn't even know that as a permanent resident there are some, is it called rebates? It's not rebates. There's some benefits you get if you've just become a new resident. So I was just talking to the manager, the dealership manager, and he was asking me, he's like, oh, how long have you been here, yada yada. We just got to a point where I told him like, oh, I just became a permanent resident and I'm so excited for that. He's like, oh, you did? I might have something for you. So I got a discount like worth $1,000, just because I'm a new permanent resident. So my car was less $1,000. That's a lot of money if you ask me. And in terms of like even like jobs, the jobs, like I've been applying for jobs, well, not now, but like I was applying for jobs when I just became a permanent resident, and like the first 3 jobs that I applied to, 2 of them called me, and one of them, of course, is the one that I'm working at right now. And it's a good job, right? It's a job that I went to school for. you know, like for a long time I came here and I was just doing this other type of jobs that, you know, for your survival. But then once I became a permanent resident, like it was so easy. I don't know if there's something about about that permanent residency that employers prefer, but yeah, I'm loving it so far. Those are so far the benefits that I've seen of becoming a permanent resident. I really like it. I'm enjoying it, and I thank God for this opportunity. I'm so much in love. So yeah, I will be updating you. Maybe I will do a 6 months of being a permanent resident. I can do that video, or even 1 year. I will be updating you as time goes by. But right now I feel like I belong. I feel like this is home. I feel like, you know, the feeling is just, you know, I'm just like in my home, you know, and like I'm wanted, and you know, I'm a part of, and you know, so I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Anyways, you guys, if you're a new resident, or if you want to start the journey of becoming a permanent resident or coming to Canada, I wish you all the best, and I hope my videos gives you the motivation to take it seriously, or just to encourage you, or to give you tips on how to actually navigate that world, this world of becoming a Canadian resident. Anyways, thank you so much for watching my videos, and thank you so much for always coming back. I really do appreciate you guys, and I really do love you guys. I will see you in my next video, God willing. Bye bye.